Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the CFO Insider. I am Amy Brownell, and I go live here on YouTube and on Facebook every single Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific to talk about all things CFO and advisory related. So here we are today. We are going to talk about a topic that is definitely a bit of a lightning bolt with how important it is and how often it's coming up, and that is offshoring. We're going to talk about what that means, what it's been looking like for bookkeepers and CPAs, EAs, corporate finance and accounting teams, and what that ultimately can mean for you. So before we go any further, I would love it if you would go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you're made aware of any time we go live or drop new content. You definitely want to be a part of that. So let's get into this, offshoring. So I'm not talking about offshoring in a hypothetical way. I am talking about my firm just hired 6 people in the Philippines. I'm talking about my client sent their bookkeeping to an overseas team. I'm talking about I've been doing this for 12 years. I've been in this job for 12 years, and suddenly I am watching someone do it on Upwork for $8 an hour. If that hits close to home, then honestly, that's good because that means that you're paying attention. And what I want you to know, what I want you to understand is before we're done here today, it's not going to, the kinds of CPAs and bookkeepers who survive this outshoring wave that we're going through, the ones who come out ahead are going to need a certain skill, and they are going to have to understand that this isn't a theoretical, this is actually happening. So that is what today's live I want to talk about. I have someone that I recently worked with. Her name is Kim. She was doing bookkeeping. She had a very large client, her largest client, in fact. And she was doing her bookkeeping one day completely out of the blue. This bookkeeper was happy with her service, but out of the blue one day, they came to her and said, you know what, unfortunately, we're going to cancel our contract with you. We found another bookkeeper in the Philippines that can do it for less. And she asked some questions, as you normally would when you're losing your biggest client after you have that kind of freak out moment in your head. And she was asking things like, okay, well, is this person providing the same services? Is it less cost for a specific reason? Is there something I can do to help win back that work? And the numbers that she heard were phenomenal in a bad way. She was hearing that the bookkeeper who was taking over her work was charging $8 an hour. That's less than a third of what she was charging. There's just no way to compete on that. You cannot have a livable wage. That is not a livable wage here in the US. And so there was no way she could keep that work. The client decided to go ahead, hire that Philippines bookkeeper, and that was the last she heard of them. So this is not something that is new. This is something that has been happening for actually quite some time. What's new, though, is the fact of how much it's happening at scale and the speed of which it's happening. They're not your clients, your your company that you work for. They're not doing this because they don't value you. They're doing it because they can, because technology has made it possible. And if they have an opportunity to cut cost, you can bet your bottom dollar that they're going to take advantage of that. So I'm not here to tell you that this threat isn't real. It absolutely is. But what I want you to see is that there is an alternative. There is an alternative. So if you are doing the following kinds of work, any work that can be things like categorizing transactions, reconciling accounts, running payroll, producing reports, filing returns, that kind of transactional work can be done anywhere by anyone who's been trained in the process. That kind of work is the kind of work that's going offshore. It already is going offshore. And like I said, you can't compete on price with someone who's doing that at just a fraction of what you charge. The work that's not going offshore, think about things like helping a business understand why margins are decreasing and why and what they can do to adjust. Telling a business owner that their pricing model isn't working for them anymore. Sitting across from someone who just landed a big contract and showing them exactly what their cash flow looks like over the next 90 days. This kind of work, this can't be offshore. Not because of geography, but because it requires knowing the business and reading the room and making a call. So if you are in that first category, that category where you're doing transactional level work, that group should be a bit scared now. But if you are in that second group, you are more than capable of handling that kind of work. And that is the work that's going to help you survive this. So what this move looks like. What I'm talking about is going from that transactional type of work to offering CFO and advisory services. So I think when a lot of people hear CFO and advisory services, advisory work, CFO work, they imagine something that is complicated or requires them to start over. And I'm here to tell you that's absolutely not true. Many of you are already doing this kind of work, but not doing it for the pay that you should be, and not doing it for the kinds of clients who value and appreciate it. So if I think about a couple of examples of people that I have worked with, one of those is Luis. He came into my program as a bookkeeper. He wasn't a CPA. You don't need to be a CPA. He had no CFO experience. He just understood numbers. He hadn't been positioning himself to get paid in a way that allowed him to get paid in what he deserved for the knowledge that he knew. He landed his first CFO client. That one client was worth almost $4,200 a month for a 12-year contract. $4,200 a month. And that is just one client, not a roster of clients, just one. You've also got Catherine, who, again, was a bookkeeper, came to me because she wanted to add fractional CFO services, and she ended up closing a client that was worth $7,000 a month. $7,000 a month. None of these people, Kim, Luis, Catherine, they're not doing reconciling work. They're not doing transactional level work. They're not doing $8 an hour level work. They are doing fractional CFO work. And I can't tell you enough, taking on these large clients doesn't mean that you are sacrificing your flexibility. Typically, it takes us about 5 to 15 hours per client per month to service these CFO clients. So let's say your goal is, let's call it $100,000 a year. That means you only need 2 clients and 20 hours of work a month on average to reach your goal. Totally doable. We're talking about helping business owners who are worried about their cash positioning, are worried about the future. This kind of work can't be sent offshore. Now, you might be wondering, what do I need to make this work for me? Well, here's what I tell you don't need. You don't need to be a CPA. There are tons of Fortune 500 CFOs who are not CPAs. I'm talking Microsoft, Apple, Starbucks, the biggest companies, the most profitable companies in the world, they do not have CPAs running their finance divisions. So if you have one, great. Yeah, you can absolutely do it, but you don't need to have one. What you need is a framework that helps you think and communicate like a CFO, how to position it. You need to know how to price it, how to have that conversation that gets you in the door. And that, my friends, is a learnable skill. It's not magic, it's just a method. So what I'm here to tell you, well, what I've got for you actually, is an opportunity to join my upcoming Game Changer Challenge. During the challenge, we will go through exactly what a CFO advisor does. I'm going to show you a tool that's going to help you show up like a CFO. I'm going to show you how to land and find those high ticket clients and so much more. We're going to go into the skills. We're going to go into all of it. This is a real, true learning challenge. You are going to come out of it smarter and wiser is my goal. So I'm not talking about a general overview, just the bare bones overview. I am talking about we are going to get into the weeds. So if you are interested, the link is down below in the description of this video. You can register at gamechangerchallenge.com/register-1day. So again, that's gamechangerchallenge.com/register-1day. And come join us come join us. It'll be on a Saturday, and we can talk about all things CFO advisor related. So that is what I had for you today. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them into the chat here while we're still live. Or if you're listening to the replay later, you can go ahead and drop those questions into the comment section, and I'll get them answered for you. Like I said, my name is Amy Brownell, and you can catch me here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We talk about all things CFO advisory related, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye.